The warehouse lights buzzed faintly, casting long shadows over crates stacked like silent giants in a cavernous storage facility in Portland, Oregon. It was just after 5 a.m. on a chilly October morning in 2024 when Nathan Brooks spotted something odd near the back corner. A flicker of movement, a shape that didn't belong. Exhausted from another sleepless night, his boots scuffed softly against the concrete as he approached. Nathan had held this job for 12 years, a steady rhythm of loading and unloading that paid the bills but left little room for heroics. Trouble was the last thing he needed, but ignoring someone in need wasn't in him either. There, slumped against a crate, was a biker. His leather jacket was ripped, blood caked along his shoulder, one eye swollen shut. Yet his posture held a quiet defiance, like a man who'd seen worse and still stood tall. Nathan glanced at the security camera's angle just shy of this hidden nook. Without a word, he reached into his lunch bag, pulling out a thermos and a water bottle. No questions, just instinct. The biker took the bottle with trembling hands, meeting Nathan's gaze with a single nod. No words, just a moment, 30 seconds of shared humanity. Then the biker vanished into the dawn. Days later, Nathan's world would unravel because of it. When Nathan clocked in for his next shift, his daughter's hand-stitched Cap My Champion in uneven blue thread sat snug on his head. He didn't see the manager, Greg Larson, until he was halfway down the aisle, flanked by 2 security guards, a clipboard gripped like a gavel. "Nathan, we need to talk," Greg said, his tone clipped. "You were caught on camera aiding an intruder. You didn't report it. That's a breach of protocol." Nathan's stomach dropped. "I gave a guy water. He was hurt." Greg's eyes didn't soften. "And you let him leave. That's reckless. You're done, effective immediately." They marched him out like a criminal. No goodbyes, just the cold echo of the door locking behind him. Outside, the autumn wind sliced through his thin jacket. He sat on the curb, staring at the empty lot, wondering how he'd tell Sophie, his 9-year-old, who already carried too much for her age. What Nathan didn't know was that someone else had seen more than the footage and they didn't forget. At home, Sophie's voice drifted from behind her sketchbook, her crayons scratching softly. "Why were you home, Dad?" she asked, peering up with eyes too wise for her years. Nathan, soaked from the Portland drizzle, forced a smile. "Just wanted to hang with you, kid." Her brow creased. "Are you okay? Did someone die?" He chuckled, but it felt hollow. "No, nothing like that." She paused, then whispered, "Did we lose your job?" "The we broke him." She always said it like they were a team. He nodded. Sophie slid off her chair, wrapping her small arms around him. "It's okay, Dad. You're still my champion." That night, as Sophie slept under her glow-in-the-dark star decals, Nathan stared at unpaid bills piling up like a judgment. Then, a low rumble stirred the air, growing louder, a symphony of engines cutting through the quiet. He peered out the window to see headlights lining the street like a battalion. By morning, the neighborhood hummed with curiosity. Over 40 motorcycles flanked the curb outside Nathan's modest rental home, chrome gleaming under the October sun. Patches on leather jackets bore symbols unfamiliar to most, but heavy with meaning to those who knew. Nathan stood in the doorway, Sophie tucked behind him, his hands shaking not from fear, but from the weight of the unknown. He recognized one face, the biker from the warehouse, now clean-shaven, scars faded but eyes sharp. The man nodded, stepping aside as an older figure approached, tall, gray beard flowing over a worn leather vest, his patch reading Vanguard. "You helped one of ours," the man said, his voice gravelly but warm. "I just gave him water," Nathan replied, throat tight. The man's smile was faint but real. "Exactly. Nobody does that anymore." He held out a silver key, glinting like a promise. "Come with us. There's more to this." Sophie peeked out. "Are you guys superheroes?" The bearded man laughed softly. "Nah, kid. Just folks who remember." The street fell silent, engines idling, waiting. Nathan's instinct screamed to stay safe, but something in the man's steady gaze pulled him forward. "I don't want trouble," he said. "You didn't start trouble," the leader replied. "You eased someone's pain when no one was looking. That's the kind of man we ride for." The biker Nathan had helped stepped up. "Name's Caleb," he said, offering a hand. "You saw me when I was nothing. That matters." Nathan shook his hand, still reeling. "Why are you all here?" Caleb's grin was fierce. "Because we don't let men like you fall." The leader handed Nathan the key again. This unlocks something you've earned a second shot. He gestured to a black van at the end of the line, engine humming. Sophie tugged his hand. Let's go, Dad. The van's door slid open, revealing a restored Harley-Davidson, jet black with silver accents, gleaming like it had a heartbeat. Nathan froze. I don't ride. Caleb's voice softened. You don't have to, but your dad did. Nathan's breath caught. How do you know about him? The leader's eyes held a quiet weight. Your father was Marcus Brooks. Rode with our crew in the 90s. Quiet guy, fixed anything broken. Saved my cousin's life once. Patched his bike in a snowstorm with nothing but grit. Died when you were young, didn't he? Nathan nodded, numb. We've been watching. That bike was his. We rebuilt it for you. Nathan stared at the Harley, memories of his father flickering like an old film. The convoy led them to a weathered garage on the edge of Portland, its doors opening to reveal a pristine workshop, tools gleaming, walls freshly painted, the air thick with oil and possibility. Above the entrance, a sign read Brooks Repairs. What is this? Nathan asked, voice tight. Caleb stepped forward. Your new start. Your dad taught us. Now we teach you. Sophie clapped. Daddy's shop. Nathan's eyes burned. This wasn't a hand-do-it, it was a legacy. Inside, the space felt alive, like his father's hands had shaped it. A tool belt hung on a pegboard, marked with MB. Nathan lifted it, its weight familiar, like it had been waiting for him. Sophie darted around, sketching shop logos on scrap paper. A biker named Tank saw her doodle a lightning bolt around Brooks Repairs and promised to paint it on the window. Nathan watched, torn between laughter and tears. He'd been fired for a small act of kindness. Now, strangers were building him a future. Caleb handed him a tin box containing the shop's deeds, signed in Nathan's name. This was always yours, he said. That evening, as Sophie napped in the corner office, Nathan stood outside, the sky bruising purple. An old man approached, limping, his vest faded. You've got Marcus's eyes, he said. Patched me up after a crash in Seattle. Never forgot it. He handed Nathan a photo of his father, grinning beside a younger version of the man, both covered in grease. Heard what you did for Caleb, the man added. Apple don't fall far. Nathan clutched the photo, his past no longer a weight, but a spark. The shop opened quietly. The first customer, a woman named Lena, rolled in a bike with a snapped chain, her voice shaky. Her brother used to fix it, she said, but he was gone, and dealers were too expensive. Nathan worked for hours, getting it right. When he handed her the keys, she teared up. You didn't charge me. He shrugged. Not today. Caleb grinned. You fixed more than a bike. Word spread. One customer became 10, then 20. Nathan wasn't just repairing machines, she was rebuilding trust. A month later, Sophie's teacher called Nathan to her school. Sophie's been drawing your shop, she said, pointing to a sketch on the wall. Nathan in an apron, Sophie beside him in goggles, captioned, My dad fixes what people forget. We'd love you for career day, the teacher added. Nathan, stunned, agreed. He wasn't a CEO or a doctor, but maybe he was something else, someone who didn't give up. Then, one crisp morning, a black sedan pulled up. Greg Larson, Nathan's old manager, stepped out, face unreadable. Didn't think this was real, he muttered. Nathan crossed his arms. Didn't expect you here. Greg shifted. Corporate reviewed the tape. I was wrong to fire you. You did something good, and I didn't have your back. Nathan nodded slowly. Appreciate you saying it. Greg left, and Nathan realized some apologies don't shall they murmur. Business grew, fueled by Sophie's lightning bolt logo, now painted on the window. A viral post about the shop's story drew crowds, then reporters. Nathan let Caleb take the mic. I've ridden with the best and worst, Caleb told a camera. Nathan helped a stranger when no one was watching. That's rarer than gold. Sophie started designing for other shops, her name added in gold beside Nathan's on the wall. One spring evening in 2025, Caleb handed Nathan a leather jacket with a Vanguard patch and a note. One last ride. Nathan kissed Sophie's forehead, donned a helmet, and followed Caleb to a hillside where a stone bore his father's name. We rebuilt it, Caleb said. For him. For you. Nathan laid the jacket by the stone, adding Sophie's sketch. His father's pride felt real for the first time. Months later, a city letter arrived, inviting Nathan to be honored for moral courage. At the event, Sophie introduced him, her voice wobbly but proud. Nathan kept it brief. I just didn't look away. The crowd roared. Winter brought snow, but the shop stayed warm with community gratitude. On Christmas Eve, the bikers returned, engines humming, Santa hats glinting. They gifted Sophie a pink leather jacket and a tiny helmet. Little Brooks, Caleb said, your family. Nathan watched, speechless, as his daughter beamed like royalty. By spring, the shop was a local legend. A stranger in a suit appeared, saying Nathan had fixed his sister's bike, securing her a job. He handed Nathan a check to cover a year's rent. That night, Sophie looked up from her drawing. Dad, can I help people like you when I grow up? He smiled. You already do. A year on, Nathan's story lived in school talks and biker bars, a quiet testament to unnoticed kindness. He kept fixing what was broken, Sophie's logo now reading, built on compassion. It all started with a bottle of water given to a man others ignored. And somehow, that changed everything. What would you have done, helped the biker or walked away? Would you risk your job for a stranger? Should Nathan have fought his firing or let it go? Drop your thoughts below, hit like if this moved you, and subscribe for more stories of grit and redemption.